And we're live. Hello and welcome to Developer Insights. I'm David.
And I'm Justin.
And together we are the leads on game development and design here at Codename.
We also founded Codename too.
We were going to be your hosts for this episode and for every episode.
You say we were going to be your hosts?
No, as we are.
Okay, well, because when we're not here, the show doesn't happen.
It's still holding up.
Today is our 75th episode.
That's like 3/4 of 100.
Oh, very good, David.
What?
I know fractions can be hard for you.
Hey, what are you insinuating?
Oh, that when we get to episode 100, there will be cake.
Oh, I thought it was a jab at my math skills, which are perfectly fine, by the way.
No, better than ChatGPT, I bet.
Marginally.
People who have tried to get ChatGPT to do math will get that joke. Anyway, as always, we are here to answer development and design questions about Idle Champions.
If you don't ask any questions, however, you may have to suffer through Justin's one-man reenactment of the intro from episode 100 of Develop. Wait, that hasn't happened yet. 75 is less than one. Are you still making...
You're right about your math skills. Super sharp. 75 is less than 100. But yes, it'll be a special sneak peek for folks, just if they haven't asked any questions. Okay, never mind. I see we have some questions.
Nuts. That would have been real cool.
Oh, well, maybe next week.
Anyway, as always, we have pulled some questions from the previous show that we didn't get to, and we will answer some of those while we're waiting for new questions to come in. But before we get to those, we do have a few updates on items that we flagged to get looked at by the dev team. So without any further stalling for time, we're going to get started looking at those. Okay, what do we have today on the list? Yes, we released one item that got crossed off, which I'm particularly excited about. Not the item particularly, but that an item got crossed off. That's the part I'm excited about. This is the option to buy more than one patron chest at a time. I forgot to check with Peter if this was already out, but I know he had it up and working earlier in the week. So I know this one is done and ready to go. So that's pretty cool. That one's off the list. I do have, of course, the in-progress list. I know actually there's an update on adding icons to the portraits of champions that are blocked due to variant rules that have a feed available that could make them unblocked. Apparently the tech for this is now done, and we're just waiting to get an actual icon from art to show on the portrait to demonstrate that, so that's awesome. And I brought with me a preview of the redesign for the Forge character selection dialogue. This one is one that Wilson had been working on, although unfortunately he was out sick most of last week, so it didn't get finished, but it is almost done. And so I thought I would just share a screenshot of that with everyone, give them a sneak peek. So I'm going to pop over to that. Let's see, game view. There we go. So what we've got here, which is looking substantially different from the original. I don't have a reference, unfortunately, but if you're familiar with the current Legendary Forged character selection dialogue, it is literally just got the characters and their 3 equipment items. The character portraits are a little bit larger on that one. There are fewer of them, and there are no sorting or filtering options. So this one actually has a recently viewed at the top. That top 5 will be the ones you've most recently upgraded equipment on or gone into and viewed equipment on. Then we've got sorts, and then filtering by role, by slot, by alignment, and by gender, which should make this whole thing a lot easier to navigate. As well as, of course, there's more characters up at a time, which also make it easier to navigate.
Hey, what happened to your tavern?
It just the lights. It'll be fine in a moment.
Oh, there's blackout. Oh, I see. Yeah, that side of the tavern.
Yeah,
all the lights went.
Don't bring attention to that. In addition to this, what's also going along with this will be on the character sheet. There will be a button that'll link directly to upgradable equipment. So I think this should be a pretty big step forward for selecting characters to upgrade their legendary gear on. All right, let's hop back to there. Boom. There's a comment on the dock from Mars. This is amazing. Yeah, I think it's going to be a really big improvement. Next item on the list here is still prioritized, which is saving feats with formations. A random skin select mode, that being that you could go into the skins and just hit do random, and it would do a random skin every reset. Adding a tooltip to gear with max level to indicate progress towards max level. An option on mobile to quickly return to Area 1. Additional icons on the quest tracker for the different types of season quests. I swear we will get to that. Recall for familiar, indication for unread changelogs, and for adjusting the sorting of the campaign list on the Modron automation to be something sensible rather than just like, I think, database order, which is what it's set to right now. All right, on to some questions left over from last week. It's your cue, Justin. The first one's for me.
Right. Sorry, I was reading through the new questions, finding some good ones in there. Let's see. Yes, the first one here from last week's show is from Slap Happy Slappy. I remember this question. This is actually a question that we
did answer
on stream,
and they provided some additional stuff. So if you want to ask the question, I'll
sure. So they asked, do you have any explanation for why my PS5 squeals as the game loads? It was extra noticeable when connection issues existed. It would hold a high-pitched tone while failing to update game defs. The sound ends once the game reaches calculating offline progress.
Yeah, so as a follow-up to this, they shared in the Discord a quick YouTube video recording of them playing the sound. And I've got it here, and I'm not sure if people will be able to hear it. It is a little bit quiet, but I'm going to play it, and maybe you can hear it, maybe you can't. But I'm not sure if people can hear that.
I couldn't hear it at all. So
yeah, you won't be able to hear it. All right. So the sound that was a little bit quiet there in the video, I didn't have a quick way here to bump up the volume, but I'm fairly confident what they're hearing there is coil whine. It is something I've heard before. In fact, I had a CPU that used to do that when it would change frequency. A lot of electronics do have a coil whine. A lot of times it's inaudible, but when it is audible, it does sound like that. And unfortunately, I'm not sure that there's much that can be done about that if you've got hardware that's doing that. From the description, it actually sounds like saying it was extra noticeable when the connection issue existed because it would hold while failing to update game defs. My guess is that it was probably tied to how many frames per second were happening, and a really high frame rate was when it was just sitting there and doing nothing other than putting the screen up was probably what was causing that to happen. But sort of an educated guess. I don't have an exact explanation for it, but it does sound like coil whine. That's what the sound sounds like, and unfortunately we don't have an answer for something like that. It's just sort of a luck of the draw on the hardware sometimes. Okay, moving on to the next question left over from last week. This one is from OG17. Question: Artemis has a long-standing bug where he will stop attacking. I think it's due to his alt state, and now Birdsong is doing the same thing on bosses. These bugs vastly lower damage. Can they be prioritized?
Yeah, I know the team was looking into the Birdsong one. I wasn't aware of the Artemis one, but yeah, we definitely are looking into the Birdsong one as she's part of the current season. So that is something that is prioritized right now.
Okay. Next question. This is from Sean Terry Wilson. In the season rewards, there is a new core or EXP. What do you think they're saying there? Experience. The new core experience.
You can get experience points for the core.
Yeah, I read it wrong. In tier 10. Do you need to buy that to access tier 11? As by that time, I would have already had leveled up that core, so it would be completely redundant.
Yeah, so I think that's my recollection is that's in the free tier of tier 11. So if you don't have a season pass, then yes, you would need to buy that to get into tier 11, as the requirement to get into tier 11 is to have bought, I think, 40 items from the earlier tiers. If you have the pass, you can pick something else and not necessarily buy that. You would have to still buy that, of course, to get to the whatever the top tier 10 pass reward is. So yes, it's there. I don't think it's super expensive. I'm not entirely sure what we valued it at, but yes, you do have to get that. With that said, we are planning to make some pretty big changes to the reward track in season 4. Hopefully we'll have more information on that in the next month or two. and hopefully that'll allay some of these issues that we've been having with the reward track in the first 3 seasons.
Okay. Next question, which probably needs somewhat of an explanation for.
Yes.
This one is from Randram, asking, how much of Ellie's rework did Turiel get to keep? And how does she feel about this?
Okay, so this is in reference to our Extra Life stream from last November. We closed out the stream. I think we closed out the stream, right? It was like an 8 a.m. thing.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. So we closed out the stream with me doing a champion rework live on stream. And as a treat to my very pregnant at that time wife, I brought my 2-year-old in to hang out at the office while I was doing the rework. But it turned out she didn't really want to hang out with Eric and the other people who had been here awake for 23 hours. And so instead, she hung out on my lap for most of that rework and commented on, well, as much as a 2-year-old can, commented on the rework as I was doing it. Now, the funny thing about the Turiel rework from November is that was actually something that was actually ongoing on design side as part of the season 3 design stuff. That's kind of how far back or how far ahead we have to work on these seasons. So the Turiel rework that I kind of did live on stream was actually of one of the first couple passes that we were doing with Turiel in the design, like the week or 2 before that. So a lot of it is actually made it all the way to the game, and I think Ellie's quite happy about that. She's very proud.
Okay. On to questions from today's episode. First question out of the gate is from Garwar. Did you ever update the gold calculations used to generate gold from silver chests and bounty contracts to be more in line with what you'd actually earn in that time with the formation that you were using?
So I don't think we've updated those. I'm trying to remember exactly how those generate gold, and I
thought it was based off an average gold rate for what your party was currently getting.
Is based off of what your party's currently doing. So I think that it's not something that like the offline progress changes that we've done recently would affect, and I don't think it'd be something that we would have touched in a while. So it hasn't been updated recently. It's not going to be
never super accurate
just because like you're going to be progressing during, like if you use a 60-minute bounty contract and then you progress for 60 minutes, if you go up a few areas, you're going to be getting an order of magnitude more gold than you were a few areas ago. So it definitely it
doesn't take any of that into account.
No, it doesn't take into account what you might do in the next hour. So I think it's just based off of your gold rate in the last 30 seconds or 60 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's your average gold rate, your gold per second average over the last 60 seconds times whatever the number of seconds the item gives you. Yeah. So if it's a small contract, which is 60 seconds worth of gold, that's what it gives you, that average, which definitely doesn't take into account sort of progressing forward.
Yeah, I think the bounty contract, silver chests dropping gold, I don't think that's super impactful past the first couple of silver chests you open in the game, and then bounty contracts, I think people use those far more for event tokens than they do for gold. So I'm not in a huge rush to update that.
Oh, mute my Chrome so I don't get beeps coming through.
Is that from your computer?
Yep.
I wasn't sure.
Could have been both. All right. Next question. This question is from Engel Tiger. Why aren't the weekly party chests included in the more chests sale?
This is a good question, and I can actually give some developer insights on this one, which is good because that's the name of the show.
What?
So the answer to this question is we actually kind of consider the weekly party chests to be on a permanent more chest sale. You actually get the number of chests you get from the weekly party from buying the weekly party packs is actually closer to the number of chests you get from more chest sales on other chests than it is to just the base values on other chests. So there's kind of a built-in sale on that. And the reason we did that is because we wanted to have the same number of chests for each champion available, which meant that the numbers just worked out, that there would be more chests in those packs than there are in other packs. And so we made a conscious effort to be like, well, if there's already more chests in there, we don't want to add more. It's also more complicated to do a more chest sale, because like the way the weekly party chest packs work is you get, like, in the $5 one, I think you get one for each champion. And if we were to, boost, if we were to put more chests in there, which champion would we give more chests for? Would we give one for each, so it goes from 3 to 6? Obviously, that's a larger buff than other chest packs get. So that's why we decided to just kind of bake in a more chest sale into that, and not include them when we do a more chest sale in the game.
Okay.
Let's see. Next question here is from Dark Drake 0210, who says, question, hey, sorry for the long question and love the game and keep up the good work. Good start. I was wondering if you could resize the screen for iPhone 11 or just iPhones in general. When on an adventure screen, the X to clear formation is not usable because it is just off screen, and it's the same for the close on the shop/chest screen. And where the black strip camera is on the iPhone, it also covers some champions when in landscape. And if you flip it, it covers the quest star when it's on the left side.
Oh,
iPhones.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, I actually do use an iPhone. But they do change the dimensionality on that often with each release, and it does result in, especially the curvatures in the corner. That was a fun one. And then camera blocking stuff. Certainly that's something we can take a look at. Often we've been a little bit slow to get to that because we don't get reports immediately on the various devices where they're getting cut off, and we don't have all the various devices for testing on. But that's a perfectly reasonable request. I think we just need to... Yeah, I'll add that to the list. I would say it's a perfectly reasonable request. There's no reason that stuff should be cut off on any display. So
yeah, it's tough though. It's like one of the reasons why, like, often, like, from a development standpoint, often console games will like run a lot better than PC games, right? Like, because PC games, they have to optimize for a bunch of different hardware, and console games can just optimize for one set of hardware. And it's the same for mobile development, where it's like, in order to account for all the phones that have rounded edges versus square edges, or all the ones that have, like, go straight to the edge of the screen or edge of the phone instead of having a border, or when they just start to put dead space in the middle of the screen, it makes it difficult for mobile developers to kind of keep up. You can't just release something and then be like, great, it's good for now and forever. It's like you literally have to be iterating every time a new phone comes out to be like, does it work properly for this phone or does it not? And that's just something that takes a lot of time.
Irritating. All right. Moving on to the next question. This is a question from Garwar. Question, is there a technical limitation to having the show upcoming tick box not just show the upgrades a champion has to show through their soft cap? Or not just show all the upgrades a champion has through their soft cap. If not, this would be a huge benefit to new players and their understanding of what a champion can offer. Since it's optional, they can untick the box if it's overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, the intention of the show upcoming tick box was just to show the next few upgrades that are coming, not all of them. I think, do we have like a show all upgrades?
I feel like at some point we did.
I know when we had a show all.
At least when we were playing with it.
Two separate ones, yeah. So maybe that was something we just played with and then never put in. I mean, so one of the things that I would say to this is that I think that seeing the upgrades that are coming is useful when you're at very low levels and being able to see kind of the abilities that will unlock. Once you kind of get through all of the ability unlocks, the upcoming upgrades will generally just be, they'll just be like increase champion damage, increase global damage, buff an ability or two, and it'll just kind of loop through those. And I don't know how much value there is in kind of seeing how many of each of those there are up to the cap, because no one's going to be doing the mental arithmetic on like, oh well, this is like a E to the 27 upgrade through this ability, and this other champion is an E to the 26 upgrade through this ability. And so I think that while there may be some value to kind of showing all of the champion abilities in there and sort of when they unlock, I don't know that there's a benefit to showing all upgrades all the way up to the soft cap, except for some kind of edge cases.
Okay. Just to be a pain in the butt, Justin, do you think you could turn your Zoom thing down just slightly? I'm just playing with the volume here, and
sure,
I don't know how it's been sounding for people, but I think you've been a little bit crushed.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, I'll turn myself down to kind of where I normally am.
People in the
chat last
time
I turned myself back up. Right. Could also be I am feeling a little bit.
You're feeling a little bit crushed? There we go.
Oh, I sound more dynamic now. Thanks, Devil Crayon.
Okay, good. No, you sounded a little off in my headphones, and I was trying to figure out what the issue might be. Audio problems are always a fun thing to deal with. Okay, where are we at? Next question. This is from Lightning Hawk. My season's milestone quest count is off from 3 and sometimes 4 quests. Is this going to be fixed soon?
So I'm not 100% sure on what's going on with this. I know we did have some milestones that we had to adjust the requirements for because they were either too big or too small. I think there was 1 or 2 that were too big and 1 that were too small. And we have added those to our QA to make sure that they all get caught before season 4. But I think there were some kind of edge cases where the counter was a little bit off. I will check in with Peter and see how we're planning to address that.
Okay. Next question, also from Garwar. This question is there a reason why champion chests aren't available in the cash shop at all time? They only show up if you open a time gate for them, if they're in the current event, or if there's a special regarding them going on.
Yeah, so the answer to this is a little bit historic, I guess, and that is in shop version 1, we just didn't really have room for a lot of champion chests. So we tried to keep it to a minimum number. The other reason was that we didn't want there to be too much, sort of too many options in the store. We wanted to kind of make sure that people weren't feeling overwhelmed by opening up the shop and seeing like dozens and dozens and dozens of different chests to purchase. Now, of course, that second one has kind of flown out the window as you open up the store, and we have pages and pages and pages of very cool skin and feet packs available now. It might be something that we can potentially revisit, where we could look at just having all champion chests in there at all times. But yeah, historically, it's been a thing where we just haven't had the space for it, and we haven't wanted to overwhelm people with so much stuff. There's a lot of interesting research into what's it called? It's like a when you have too many choices of something to buy, like
choice
you go
paralysis?
into choice paralysis. That's the one. It's like you go into a grocery store, and like some grocery stores, they'll have like 50 different kinds of peanut butter you can buy, and some will have like 3 different kinds of peanut butter you can buy. And oftentimes the ones with the 3 different types of peanut butter stuff will just sell better there because you won't have as many. You're not spending all your time being like, oh, what should I get? Should I get the high fat? Should I get the low fat? Should I get the Jiffy? Should I get the whatever? Right. So.
Right. I don't think that's right in the chat. Lexinum says it's an ice cream store, but I don't think an ice cream store is a place where you get 50 different options of peanut butter.
Yeah, no, you're thinking of a peanut butter store.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be a place. This whole video game thing falls through. I'm opening a peanut butter store.
Yes.
Just think of all the different nuts in the world that you could make into
some sort of heaven for squirrels. Anyway, I think we're supposed to be answering questions. Next question. This is from Super Collins. which is an upgraded version of Collins.
Yeah.
As a
Way
player
better than regular Collins.
and as a developer, and I see you're going to have to answer this question. I don't know that I can answer this because I haven't looked in detail at the Season 3 champions. Anyway, the question is, as a player and as a developer, which Season 3 champion changes are you both excited for the most?
Well, I know which ones I'm most excited for. Dave, why don't you name one of the Season 3 champions?
It's not something I've been working on.
Oh, come on. I've already mentioned one in this stream. You weren't even listening to my answer before? Oh, okay. Anyway, so I think for me, the ones I was most excited to work on was Barrowin and Turiel. Barrowin is a champion who we have taken a number of swings at. People who have been playing for 5+ years will remember the days of Barrowin hammer stacking. Barrowin was one of the very first champions that we had to nerf. I guess there's no air quotes on that. We really nerfed her because she had an ability that stacked in a way that we were not happy with and could be. I guess the way in which it was stacked was also not something we were super happy with. It required a lot of very manual work to kind of get her into this OP state. So we weren't super happy with that, and so we changed her. But the thing that the way that we changed her, it made her basically took her from like OP to basically nothing. So we did that change, and then when we did like a season or a nice season one, a year one rebalance, we took a second stab at her and tried to kind of change how her ability works to kind of keep it within the spirit of how her original ability worked, just without having this sort of stacking, infinite stacking mechanic, and it didn't really work to get her back up into the meta. So with this third kind of stab at her, we were attempting to simplify her, make her make it more straightforward about how you use her, and make it easier to sort of max her out. And I think we've done a decently good job with that. I think she's in an okay place now, and she got her tank tag and all that stuff. I think the only thing that she's missing right now, and is something that's kind of on our plate, is she doesn't have a health item like a lot of other tanks do. And we were looking at the redesign. We were kind of choosing between giving her more buffing power or giving her a little bit more sustainability, and we chose to give her a little bit more buffing power. But I think that there are some good arguments for maybe re-looking at that. For Turiel, I was just excited to play around with Turiel because Turiel is a really fun champion. He was one of our first he was one of the first champions we did that had like a really cool looking ultimate. Way back in year one, the ultimates up to that point were a lot of like the champion leaps out and just does a more powerful swing of their sword, and so by giving him an ultimate ability that he kind of lifted up in the air and kind of started glowing, and the longer he was there, the bigger the glow and the more powerful the buff from it. I thought that was a really cool thing to do. So I was excited to look at Turiel and try and pull him back into the meta and really make him something that a lot of players would want to play with in one of their main formations. So those were the two I was most excited about. We also had fun working on Birdsong and trying to get her to be more of a either usable as a DPS or a support, rather than being kind of in this quasi state where she was before, where she wasn't really sure if she was a DPS or a support. She didn't really do great at either. And so I think with the changes to Birdsong, she's certainly a lot more powerful.
Okay.
Let's see. This concludes all the questions that I highlighted. Now we're on to some questions that Dave has highlighted.
Got to it, yep.
There's a question here from Topher the Returned, who asks, please can the reset adventure window be set to always be on the top layer, visible on top, even if familiars level up to specialization choices after the player has pressed the R key? R. Yes.
Yeah, that sounds like a reasonable request. I'm going to highlight that and put it into the list for people to take a look at. Yeah, this definitely can relate to that being obnoxious. So it even feels like it should probably not pop up like over over like the character sheet or other dialogues. I don't know if you had any sort of thoughts on that, but I know that definitely when we've been testing stuff, it'll just pop up right in the middle of what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So in
yeah,
fact,
I think
feel like that happened like
on
last
top
week,
of everything, all the way at the top. Put it on the tutorial layer. All right. So the next question is from our mods, and they asked, "Are you ready to start the giveaway?" And I think yes, we are ready to start the giveaway. So for anyone who this is your first time joining us, welcome to our stream. Every week we do a giveaway of 42 chests of your choice. The way that it works is there's a keyword, a super secret special keyword that you'll never be able to figure out, that you have to say in chat. And if you say that during the time that the giveaway is going on, you'll be entered for a chance to win 42 chests of your choice. It's actually very easy to figure out what the giveaway word is because Moobot will tell you what it is as soon as the giveaway starts, which is hopefully soon, so that the stuff that I'm saying will be relevant to what's going on in chat. Go mods, go! Yeah. Start it. Anyway, you can pick any type of chest of your choice. It can be any type of chest. It could be gold chests. It could be silver chests. It could be rosy chests. It could be briv chests. Here we go. Oh, finally. There it is. The keyword is in chat. It's 1/4 wrong, all one word. Enter and hopefully you win. Good luck.
Cool. One thing that actually, Justin, so I was watching the chat just before the giveaway announcement started, and I noticed that one of the mods was replying to Library of Akasha asking about why a number of their questions had been skipped. It's worth sort of noting we get quite a few questions, and we pick the ones that we have the most interesting answers to, or that we have an answer to. Sometimes we don't have an answer readily available for a question, and so then we don't end up answering that. You'll be happy to know we do have a couple of your questions highlighted down below here, but the ones above, I think, Justin, I imagine you skipped over those because you didn't have a good answer for them.
I don't have good answers for those ones. I don't have really compelling answers for those ones.
Yeah. So
sometimes we'll highlight ones that we don't have answers to and just sort of note them so that you'll know that we read them. But we do read every question, so sometimes we just skip over them to get to things that we have more interesting answers to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like the giveaway's still going on. Nobody's asking for aluminum chests yet, so.
Next question here is from Bosanias, who asks, "Can we get the potion/contract trading soon? Opening 90,000 contracts wasn't fun." Why not?
Oh, what is that?
50 at a time?
50 at a time works out to what? Is that it's 180? It's not a, it's 1,800. Yeah, 1,800 times. Yeah, it's a.
That doesn't sound fun.
No, not at all. I mean, this is a good one to talk about a little bit. I mean, this is something that I know you put some design into the alchemy alchemist panel.
Yeah, we did put some design into potion trading. I don't think I didn't include contract trading in that.
You can't grind them up and make them into a potion.
No, you can't. You can't grind up contracts and drink them.
They're tasty contract power.
Maybe it's some sort of thing where you've got like some tape, and you just like if you tape a bunch of contracts together, that makes a bigger contract.
Or if you pour a speed potion on it and it changes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Tastes like blue.
So yes, we are thinking about this. It is something that's on design's plate, and we'll go on to dev's plate once we get an opening there, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, I think it is a real problem that people have ended up storing a very large number of certain items in their inventory, and then it becomes really difficult to use at that point. And providing a solution to that, I think, makes a lot of sense, particularly because I think it's a fairly large number of players who are sort of getting into that boat. So to prevent it from sinking, we should add an option for that. I don't know where I'm going with that. All right, let's move on.
Let's see. Next question here is from Lex the Cat, who asks, would it be easy to make the private/public and the auto start options for trials lobbies something you can toggle from within the lobby? I guess you have to turn and do them right now
when you're starting the game, I think
create
so.
the campaign.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no reason we couldn't do that. I'm just trying to think if there would actually be any kind of impact that would be any kind of meaningful impact switching them on the inside.
The only thing I can think is switching from public to private. It probably wouldn't change the key. So if there was anyone who already had the party in listed in the in their available parties, they would still be able to join it.
Well, at the very least, they'd be able to see. Yeah, it's true because we only have one key.
Yeah.
Not that we couldn't.
I could change the key, I guess, when you toggle it. That would do the trick.
Yeah, that would do it.
Certainly, turning on auto start while you're in the lobby seems like something that'd be pretty easy to do, because I think that's just a value in the data.
We can tag it. I don't see. I guess that doesn't seem like it would have any sort of. They don't think any problem with it as an idea. Probably had some added benefit. So sure. Okay. So this was. I enjoyed this question, which is, of course is not a super serious question, but it's just Desire. I see. I get it. It's Desire. Which of you is the paladin who uses lay on hands to fix the server, and who is the wizard who comes with up with the ideas that makes this game so fun but crashes the servers?
Oh gosh, who is that? Well, I mean, I think we swap. I think we're dual roles. We're dual classing here. I think whichever one of us gets to the servers first will cast lay on hands to fix them.
Yeah, I think over the last few weeks when we've had some issues, it has been back and forth. That's for sure. Yeah. I, for one, am not fond of fixing the server at 2 a.m. So.
Oh, I'm all over that. I'm not sure which one of us breaks the servers more.
Well,
I think we both know what the answer is, but I'm not going to say it on stream.
Thanks. Don't throw me under the bus.
Next question here. Hey, it's from Library of Akasha. And the question is, why in settings is the minimum particles 25%? I have to go into local settings to set it to 0%.
I think the reason is that it doesn't make such an impact from a performance standpoint. That turning it from 0 to 20 or from 25 to 0 shouldn't be a noticeable impact. I don't think. I don't recall the exact decision at the time when I set it to that. So that was a really, really early on decision, probably like 5 years ago when we set that up. I just think we wanted to be able to turn them down. 0 didn't. Turning them off completely just didn't seem like the thing to do at the time, I suppose. But it's one of those things where I actually honestly don't know what I was thinking at the time when I did that. But
at least it was 25% and not like just some random number like 17% or 4%.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah, I think
maybe there was an ability that had exactly 4 particles that spawned, and so you're like, in order to so there's at least 1 particle to spawn, we got to have 25%.
Yes, Lurking Writer saying they're low spec machines such as their potato. Well, you set the frame rate potato first. I think that's the.
Maybe we'll make it so you can only put the particle thing down to below 25% if your frame rate's already set to potato. Like setting it to potato like unlocks a bunch of special like features in the thing where you can drag things down further than you normally can.
Yeah, I mean, we can add an option to set it down to 0. My only worry would be that there's something that would just disappear entirely. That would be I'm just sort of thinking if there were any projectiles that were literally just 100% particles, but I don't think there are. So
I wonder if there's anything silly in the game, like a particle that when it gets to a certain point is a callback that causes the actual damage. So if you reduce the number of particles on like Celeste Firestorm, that it causes it to do less damage.
I mean, that's
I'm sure there was a point.
That's entirely possible. Doesn't seem right. I don't know. Someone should check that. No. Okay. Yeah, actually, thinking about that one now, I feel like it did do damage on impact, and then when it was finished, it did the remainder of the damage. And so it would, if you had your particle set to 0, it would just be no impacts, and then all the damage would happen at once. I think that's the case.
Well, I would hope so. I would hope we accounted for that.
Okay. Next question. This one is also from the Library of Akasha. Can you add a refresh for patron challenges like season dailies so that we can do something besides a patron challenge that we really hate?
That's a good question. I don't think we will do that. I don't think it's in the plans. The reason being, patron challenges obviously last a full week. It's not a day, so there's less time pressure to do it. If you really don't feel like doing it on Monday, you can do it on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or any of the other days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the other 3. Just and the other reason is that the patron challenges, the way they generate is actually kind of interesting. They are not completely random. Well, they are completely random, but they're not completely random based on your user. So with daily quests, every player in the game gets a different set of daily quests, or rather they're generated randomly for each player. With patron challenges, we actually have it set up so that assuming you have all the same champions unlocked, you'll get the same patron challenges as everyone else. So the reason we did that is so that people could discuss the patron challenges that were available that week. For example, if there was a patron challenge to use a certain champion, that there could be a Discord thread or a Reddit thread or a forum post about, hey, like, what's the best way that people have decided to do this patron challenge. So we purposefully kind of want everyone to have the same rough set of challenges. And so having the ability to kind of opt out of ones you don't want to do kind of goes against that. But I think it's fine for them to be pretty fixed, because we did, in January we did that pass to try and make them a little bit more straightforward and not have anything that was too grindy in terms of the number of adventures you would have to do to complete one. And so I think they're in a pretty good state right now.
Okay.
Next question here is from Cuddleguts, who asks, can the ad boxes up top be randomized once at the start of the run and then stay the same? Right now, they reorder at each zone transition. If a zone transitions while I'm trying to click one, I end up clicking another. Is that true?
That's what I wanted to know. Is that really true? Oh, was this because at some point I know Chris was asking that some of them were getting obscured, like they were getting stuck behind there. Did we end up actually on purposely doing that? Is that
it should, I know we talked about like we have the kind of fixed ones like the ICP and the event and whatnot, and then there's some additional ones that do randomize, but at the beginning of each zone?
I'm not sure about that. I'm going to ask Peter what we ended up doing for that. It's weird. I do remember that being I thought it was in the case where we didn't have enough space for all of them. That was sort of like a last sort of ditch effort to get that working without a complete rework. Yeah. All
right.
Yeah. That's silly.
That needs to be addressed. That's ridiculous. Thank you for bringing that up.
We'll bring it to Peter and he'll be like, you told me to do it. Oh dear. Okay. Next question. This is also from the Library of Akasha. Can we get 2 refreshes total for season daily quests instead of just 1?
I'm trying to think of a fuller answer to this other than
You're just like, I refuse.
Nah. I guess I'm trying to think of sort of, because I know, and for us for like when we're testing the season dailies, we have a kind of infinite refresh where we can refresh them. I'm just wondering if obviously we don't want to give out infinite refreshes because everyone would just, refresh to the easiest of them and just do those and not actually have to work for things. But
give us 2, we'll let the second reroll back to the first.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something to think about. It's something to think about whether we would allow you to just like reroll each one once, or whether you just get like, two rerolls that you can use on anyone. So if you reroll one and you get one you don't want, then you could reroll that same one again. I don't know. It's something to think about. We're getting into more questions where I haven't read them and highlighted them yet. So we'll go down to this one here. This one's from Bruta Lix, I guess. And they ask, could we clarify if familiars used in background parties assigned to trigger ultimates randomly have any effect? Besides the alt cooldown not being triggered when you swap parties, they also do not seem to make them progress any faster. Thank you.
So it is my understanding that they do trigger. If the alt cooldowns are not triggered, that's not a good sign. I'll pass this on to Mark and confirm, because he's the master of the offline progress. But like I say, it was my understanding that they are getting triggered. I feel like this question came up before, and I asked him, and he was like, "Absolutely, they are." But I'll confirm it with him again, especially if the alt cooldowns are not visibly triggered when you go there, because obviously they should be if they've been if the alts have been being fired. So we'll confirm.
All right. I highlighted some more questions about that one.
Oh, okay. Up we go. All right. Next question then. This one is from Maniac Clown. Why doesn't Miria count as dead when she swaps a clone in? Is that narratively she's not really dying, but rather swapping the clone in as a meat shield?
So narratively, yes, she is not. She's not dead. She's swapped in a clone, and the clones are all alive. So I guess the question is like, was Voldemort dead when like the first of the 3 Horcruxes were destroyed? Or did he need all 7 to be destroyed before was it 7? How many Horcruxes were there?
I thought there were 4.
There were 7 books. Are there 4?
I don't know. I'm
anyway,
going to 4.
Yeah. Spoilers. Sorry for people who haven't read all of Harry Potter or seen the movies. Anyway, yeah. The idea is she's not fully dead. Good question though.
Okay. Oh wow. I think it was 4. Anyway,
was it 6 plus Harry Potter? Oh my god, more spoilers.
It's old enough. Next question. This is from Atomic Potato Chip, asking, is there a possibility that we can get a Knoll champion in the future? I've wanted this for over a year.
Yeah, there is a possibility that we could get a Knoll champion in the future. I don't think we have one on sort of the near term design track, and near term would be like the next 6 to 8 months or so. I do know that we have a new race of champion coming out soon. I think we're starting design on them. I guess when I say soon, I'm like 6 months out, but we're starting design on them pretty soon, and that is going to be a new race that we haven't done before. So let the speculation begin.
Dun dun dun.
There we go. The diary, the ring, the locket, the cup, the diadem, the snake, and then Harry himself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7.
Oh, see, I was thinking of those like items of power. What are those things?
Oh, you were thinking of the Deathly Hallows.
That's what I was thinking of.
Like the
There's
cloak
4 of those,
and the
right?
wand and the ring or something. No, they made that symbol with the triangle and the circle. It's been years.
Yeah. Okay, next question. This one is from Jason. Okay, words. Jason M. Bryant. 1. Can background bud setting get a tweak? Every time my background party resets, I have to switch parties to let Birdsong kill something and then switch back.
Yeah, this is a good question. I guess especially for challenges and stuff that require bud to be set, this feels like something that we should ensure that background parties are doing. So I think it's something we should highlight and check in with Peter and Mark and make sure that background parties are setting bud and then incrementing challenges that require bud to be set, because that seems like that would make background parties a heck of a lot more useful.
All right. Okay, now we're back to where we were. Next question from Alias Buck. On Idle Champions Presents Votes, the left box always wins. Is it possible to randomize what's in the left box to get better vote outcome?
Yeah, we've talked about this on a couple of shows so far, and I think it's something that we should try to do. If not for this ICP, then certainly for the next time we do one, where we just sort of everyone gets the vote options in a random order, and then we can see if it truly is like a 50% thing where everyone just clicks the left box, and so it'll just be 50% every single time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this was one of these cases where I kind of pointed out last time that, you know, not everyone watches the show, and the people who aren't watching the show just click it to get the item, or, you know, they want to get their vote in. And so the easiest thing to do is click the vote closest to, you know, Anyway, I think that's why it's happening. So,
yeah, I think it's something that we should fix.
We'll actually have to add in an option there so that in order to vote, you have to answer a skill testing question about the show, and we'll have a series of them. And so you'll have to have watched the episode in order to actually vote.
Yeah.
I'm only half joking. That would be a great thing to do, I think.
like a CAPTCHA.
Yes, but to prove that you watched the show.
Yeah. It's like, click on all of the wizard champions from ICP.
Well, not like that kind of a CAPTCHA. I mean, everyone can figure out which one is a wizard. Fire hydrant.
They're not wearing it.
Click the crosswalks.
Anyway, next question is from the Lurking Writer, who says, having now seen the newly redesigned Legendary Forge, any chance that some of these changes could also be applied to the collection screen?
Good point.
I think we had a bunch of like filtering things, right? Like we were also talking about applying these to when you go to use like a potion of polish or blacksmithing contracts or legendary potions or pigments or
well, I don't
Sorry, I didn't say anything.
No, you didn't say that at all.
Nope.
That's not a spoiler. Do not rewind and listen. Okay, anyway, the answer to that is actually, that's not a bad idea. And we were actually taking this and applying it back to the potion/contract selection box as well, just because it seemed like a really good way to, or really good functionality to have. So that is also going to be going out when that dialogue goes live, but it wasn't something that I had a preview for. But yeah, as far as the collection screen itself, that one wasn't on the list, but it's something that we could definitely take a look at. But I know a lot of those dialogues need a rework for sorting and filtering.
The collections dialogue needs a big rework, but we don't have time to get into that right now.
No. Just because the sheer number of champions has grown over the last few years, that all of these have needed more filtering and sorting options. And the inventory screen itself needs a rework as well, some kind of sorting, tabbing for different types of items and stuff, and that's also on the list.
So. There's a lot of different things on there.
For sure.
Next question here is from Trickster3, who asks, how hard would it be to have the mouse over for the swap panel bring up information when a portrait is moused over, like race, alignment, affiliation, roles, attack type, formation, positional, etc. If this is possible, how hard would it be to show that also for characters in the current formation when the swap dialog is open? I'm getting characters too fast to be able to investigate their synergies. I think it would really help in allowing me to figure out what % of my formation could. Oh, I think this question got
cut off.
This question got cut off.
Yeah. So this is something that has been asked for before. I think it's actually a pretty good idea to have mouse over on the swap dialog for sure, just because all that information is stuff that does impact like the value in that particular formation or variant. Mars is saying that the comment really did end abruptly on this. Anyway, what I was saying, I do think I think that'd be valuable to have. Like I say, this is something that we've talked about putting in before, which is something that hasn't been gotten to. But I'll tag it as a reminder. So certainly a nice to have.
Okay. Next question here is from Loopy79, who says, not really a question, but more of a statement. The new legendary sorting is a good improvement, but it really needs an ability to sort or at least highlight items that need a particular favor type to upgrade. That is a good catch.
Yeah, I agree. That is something that we missed. I'm tagging it. I'll bring it to Nick, who's working on that, and give him the good news.
Okay, next question is from Topher the Returned, who says, David, from your Forge preview, it looks like you need more scales. Would you like to join my trials team?
So that screenshot is actually Nick Wilson's Forge preview. He's the developer working on it, and he sent that to me earlier. So yeah,
I don't think you want Nick on your trials team. We have him working all day. He doesn't have time to actually run trials.
Option. But he does have access to free scales because he can just go into the database and add them. So I'm not sure how much that helps you. Anyway, next question.
Yeah, we got time for one more here.
Oh, this one's not. All right, go ahead. This is actually a repeat of something I say at the top of the show, but.
Okay, well, we'll end the show with the same thing. This is from D Space Dog, who says, in the automation setup dialog, can the campaign list in set formation be listed alphabetically or some other more intuitive fashion? Sometimes it's hard to find the right TimeGate campaign. Yes, that is very true.
Yes,
you're just nodding.
No, I got distracted.
We can't hear you nod.
Yeah, you can. I saw Mars adding a comment to the very last question. I was just seeing how many questions we had remaining.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
We have a lot of questions.
So the answer to the question asked, though, is that definitely ordering the campaign list and set formation on the Modron screen to be listed in any order other than just the ID order makes a lot more sense. And it's on the list of things that we want to get fixed soon. It's on my list of items I talk about in the top of the show that are items that we're looking at. So definitely a good idea, and definitely we'll get that one in. Okay.
Cool. Well, I think that's all we have time for this week.
Looks like it. A lot of questions this week.
Yeah, we had a lot. We had 75 questions this week, and we answered. The last one we answered was 41, but we probably skipped over a good 10 or 12 questions in there too. So I think we got through around 25 or 30 questions out of the 75 that were asked. So if we didn't get to your question this week, don't worry, you'll have another opportunity. We will be live again next week. And at the top of the show, we'll answer a couple of the questions that we didn't get to this week. Before we sign off, though, we'd like to thank our tireless mods. It's not actually filled out in the document here, but I believe it was Mars and Gabe today. There might be a third one there.
I saw those two names in the doc.
They're lurking if that's true. Anyway, they're the folks who copy your questions into our questions doc and generally make things awesome in chat. So thanks to both of you, or all three of you.
Whoever's here. Perfect, Justin. And of course, thanks to all of you for hanging out, watching the stream, asking such great questions, and for enjoying the game. Without you, no one here would get to do what we do.
And we like what we do.
All right. That's it. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
Bye. So what other amazing math facts do you know?
Did you know that every even number is divisible by 2?
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Give me another.
If you add up all the digits in a number and the sum is divisible by 3, then the number is divisible by 3 too.
Okay, actually that is pretty cool. Okay, last one.
57's not a prime number.
Oh, too soon, dude. Too soon.